Yo, what's up guys? Today I got another video for you guys. Today we will be talking about something I get asked for quite a lot. And it's mainly going to be about the additional stats and substats in the game and how they work. I get a bunch of questions all the time asking what's perseverance, what does pierce do, what is crit resistance and crit defense doing. So I just really want to kind of clear everything up in one fell swoop and show you guys how to properly build by knowing what stats you're using. Perseverance. Perseverance is by far the trickiest thing in the game. It doesn't really have a set in stone definition. The best way I can explain perseverance is this is your damage negation before your armor and defense is accounted for. So let's say you take 10,000 damage and you have 500 perseverance like myself. Your perseverance is going to reduce that damage by a multiplier, and then it will then get filtered through your defense. So having perseverance is really helpful. You get, again, most of it through mastery. There's not really much other ways to have it other than through some of your accessories can have it, if I can find any. Maybe. Yeah, perseverance rate. That is going to definitely help when you have the tankier builds. If you want to have a tankier team, maybe you want to face tank more, you don't really care about healing, having that perseverance will help a bunch. All right, that is something you need to look out for if you want to have a build. Like if you want to have a tank build, you're gonna want as much perseverance as you can get. Even before looking at your defense, you want to have your perseverance like as high as you can get it. It will help you out a bunch. I've seen it's probably one of the most useful stats in the game, in all honesty. All right, defense shatter. Defense shatter is fairly simple. It is just reducing the armor that the enemy has. The more you have, the more defense that's going to get shredded. It's one of those things that kind of explain itself, but I figured why not just mention it. Some people might not know that. So, you know, a lot of these substats are things that if you played other gacha games, you will know this off the top of your head. You know, it's like, oh, crit defense, crit shatter, crit resistance, you know, those are second nature to you at this point. But if you're newer to mobile games, these are the things that you might not know that you're missing out on. So crit defense, or not crit defense, defense shatter is just removing armor to get more damage. Fairly simple. Shatter resistance, I'm going to be 100% honest. I've asked around about shatter resistance. I've really seen no person who has a good idea what it is. If I had to take a guess, I would say it is probably your resistance to having your defense lowered. That's my best guess that I could give. And then you got your regular ones: crit rate, crit resistance, crit damage. Crit rate, the amount you can crit. Crit resistance, your resistance to being crit. Not like, so let's say your boss has a 40% chance to crit you and you have 20% crit resistance. That'll go down to a 20% crit chance to crit you. So not too useful at the moment, but maybe later on in the game's lifespan it will be useful. And then crit damage, it is just the multiplier that your attack gets multiplied by whenever you crit. Fairly simple. That's about it. Then you have your damage modifiers. So your normal attack increase, normal attack damage increase, plunge attack, special attack, normal skill damage, attack skill damage, ultimate move damage, all the damage. Most of that is self-explanatory. If you don't know what all of your attacks are, your normal attacks is like these fast combos, you know, like up to here I would say is your normal attack, and then after that, that move right there, that's your special attack. So if you're wondering, like some characters like Drake, their normal attacks proc his passive, but his special attack won't. So it can actually be better to stop his combo with a dash and then keep going to get more normal attacks to proc his passive faster. And then your plunge attack. Self-explanatory. It's a plunge. And then your special skill damage is your first skill here. That's your special skill. I sometimes get it mixed up too, and I'll count my special skill as my normal skill, but your special skill is always going to be the first slot, and then your normal skill is going to be your second slot. I would have swapped those if I were Netmobile. It's kind of confusing to explain. Elemental stats. Your elemental stats are basically after your attack and your crit and all of those are multiplied, then you will have your elemental stats added onto that. So I have 4,000 darkness attack. That's not adding 4,000 to my base attack. Not at all. That is just adding after my attack is added in, then it's going to multiply it by, it's going to multiply it by a random unknown multiplier we don't know by your darkness attack and boost the attack's damage. That's all I know about the darkness attack and like all the elemental attacks, is that it's not adding to your attack, it is adding a multiplier that is unknown to your attack's damage. And then defense is the same thing. It is adding a multiplier of the elemental defense to your defense after the fact. So it could be confusing, but it's really something you don't have to know because it won't affect your play that much. Buff duration, efficiency, self-explanatory. It's your buff duration, efficiency. Okay, so what can you do with this knowledge? Why is this knowledge able to help you build your teams better and make your units stronger? Having ideas of what each stat does for your characters allows you to kind of think for yourself on what roles you want and how you want to build your characters. So for me, I know for my Meliodas that I want a mainly crit rate, crit damage build. So I have this ring that gives me crit chance, crit damage with the set that gives me crit rate, even though it says fire attack. And then these two, I have magic charging efficiency on them, mainly for when I use Axe Meliodas. It's nice to have the magic charging efficiency on him. Buff duration efficiency is the same thing. It's really nice to keep my buffs up on him. But yeah, that's basically it for all of the substats that the game has given us. There's some that I missed, I'm pretty sure, but if you have any questions about those, just leave them in the comments. I'll answer them as fast as I can. I usually get to those when I wake up in the morning. It's one of my daily rituals, but I hope this helped. I really want my channel to help other people be able to build for themselves, because I think having the knowledge to build for yourself makes the game a lot more enjoyable. But make sure, if you want to, join my Discord. There's a bunch of info in there. That link will be in the comments. And that's it. Ciao!